Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Monkey Cage, recorded live at the Glastonbury Festival! They're ready, Brian! This is a festival that is ready for inertial frame of references! This is a festival that's ready for gravitational waves and how we detect them, but no time now. So, first of all, Brian, we start off. Why are we here?
It began with an exponential expansion of space-time called inflation. The inflaton field decay.
Right, so why are we at Glastonbury?
Well, we're at Glastonbury because we are going to consider the sound of music.
Right. I should make it clear we're going to consider the sound of music, not the sound of music. Which is a pity. I know he loves it. I tell you what, if you've never seen Brian in a wimple singing "How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria," you haven't lived.
I was told it was actually about the sound of music.
No, it is about the sound. We can do the science of the sound of music. What is music? What is the sound of music from an acoustic engineering and evolutionary perspective? And we have put together a supergroup of brilliant minds. So, on guitar, voice, and sudden moments of visual clarity, Katie Tunstall. On poison, dart frogs and sloths, it's Lucy Cook.
Acoustic engineering and constructing musical instruments from courgettes, it's Trevor Cox.
On carefully honed routines about Scientology and so also on the cusp of frequent legal actions, it's Matt Kirshen.
On jazz, electronica and the work of Paul McCartney, Brian Eno and Cirque du Soleil, it's Nitin Sawhney.
And this is our panel! Trevor, we'll start with you as an acoustic engineer. We always like to have definitions. So first of all, what is music?
Well, it depends what perspective you want to take, but from an evolutionary point of view, you know, we get a lot of pleasure from it, but it's a bit of a mystery why we have evolved to like music. So some people argue, like Pinker, that it's auditory cheesecake. We have the sort of mechanisms in our brain to enjoy music really for speech, because when you say a vowel, it's a bit like singing, isn't it? It's a sing-song kind of sound. And so it's kind of almost an accident that we have music, and we love having it, and therefore we just kind of exploit it. So one perspective, it's not really got any evolutionary purpose, but it's just something we do. The other perspective is it's crucial to things. And, for example, when you get a mother teaching a baby to speak, they use mother-reeds. So one argument is actually that music predated speech, and it's how we learn language. And actually, if you go back to Neanderthals, their first sort of proto-language, or our ancestors' first proto-language, might well have been sung rather than spoken.
So I'd heard that in terms of the Neanderthal brain, there's a sense that music comes in about 40,000 years ago with Homo sapien, but there is also some evidence to suggest that Neanderthals as well?
Well, I wouldn't say there's... I mean, the evidence we have for when we'd had music is actually old musical instruments. You find vulture bones which have actually got holes and make flutes, so that's about 40,000 years ago. But music probably existed before. It's just there's no archaeological evidence for it earlier on. So I suppose you could take a guess that when we became big-brained, which is a long time ago, and that predates the Neanderthals, that maybe we were starting to sing then. But the evidence is really sketchy, so it's very hard to be sure.
Does that mean that you might think that anything that's sufficiently intelligent anywhere in the universe or even on Earth, any species that's sufficiently intelligent would have music because it's a part of the way anything communicates, essentially?
I suppose it depends what you think music is. So we might think of birdsong as being music, but we might just think of that as a way of them calling it just a communication system. So one of the things which separates music, I guess, from birdsong is that humans are pretty unique in actually just doing it for fun. You know, we'll sit and put some music on just for our enjoyment when we're not trying to attract mates or we're not trying to protect territory. You know, we use music not for evolutionary purpose.
So Nitin, can I just ask you, how do you balance out when you're just professionally playing music and when you're playing music to attract mates? Do you find there's a specific division?
No, I don't know how to answer that, actually. Yeah, well, I think when I'm making music, I'm always thinking, just to get back to what he was saying, in terms of sound and music, I think of them as quite separate because, for me, sound inspires music. And I'm always looking at music as... It's a human thing for me because it's you've got to have the intent to make music. So if you're listening to birdsong, for example, like a nightingale or whatever, which is something strangely I did recently, you can actually write music that's inspired by that, and you have to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?